Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Thursday night here on Quantum GK. I'm your host, Donna Reyes. And tonight, we have a very special guest. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang ating July, July celebration kasi, the world revolves around me. And July is my birthday month. So this evening, Kuya Butchie Impelido from Chicago will be joining us. And Kuya Butchie and I have been working together with GK USA since I think 2007. Kuya Butchie is an Oracle MySQL administrator. Tama ba, Kuya? He is also a previous U.S. Soccer Federation certified coach. He was a USSF certified referee and instructor, and he's still a referee, right? USSF certified referee. Yeah. So as you can, obviously, as you can tell, he's very passionate about soccer, and so we're going to talk about that and how he brought that passion over into his work with Gawad Kalinga. Kuya Butchie, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Good evening. Thanks for having me. Happy to be in your program.
Nako, thank you so much talaga, Tito. Ay, Kuya Butchie, hindi pala Tito. Kuya lang kasi hindi ka naman ganun katandaan sa akin. But thank you for sa pagpapaunlak mo for saying yes to guest in Kwentong GK. Like I mentioned, this month is a special month. For me personally, and my special request was to have guests that that I have worked with that have been a part of my GK journey since when we started in the early mid 2000, diba? So let's start with that, Kuya. How did you start? How did you know about Gawad Kalinga?
If I remember right, it was about that GK movie trilogy.
Yes.
So it was three movies for the price of one. So I immediately took the offer.
So you weren't part of GK yet at that time. You watched?
No, not at all. No.
Okay.
That was during the movie presentation. I think I happened to meet June Bilote, who was the area coordinator then, and then so we started talking, and then I did volunteer about doing some administration work for GK Chicago then. Specifically, I was helping create databases kasi yun naman yung trabaho ko. So that then we can send acknowledgement letter, tapos yung tax donation letter at the end of the year para for tax purposes. Tapos it's just yung usual mail merge. So a lot of database work, tapos creating letters, merging letters, tapos send to the different mga advocates natin or mga donors.
But how did you know about the movie?
I think just from a lot of advertisements or from the Filipino newspapers about the trilogy. So we just contacted and then bought a ticket for the two of us, Dora and I. Ganun lang, no?
So interesting. No, that's good to know because we are in constant, I guess search for effective marketing tools, right? For GK USA. So at that time, I think that was about 2007.
Yeah.
So, nag-work pala yung mga ating, that traditional.
As I said, three for the price of one.
And those are really good movies for those of you who have not been part of GK, of Gawad Kalinga at that time. Kuya Butchie is talking about those three movies, kaya nga siya trilogy, but the actors are really, really good actors and very, very popular celebrities in the Philippines like Maricel Soriano, Cesar Montano, Michael V, Carly Martin, di ba? Si Ricky Davao, right? Yes. Those are featured real GK stories. I think those were, like yung kay Ricky Davao, I think it was the Rudy Abad story, yung namatay yung wife niya sa 9/11.
9/11. Yeah.
Right? Isa siya dun sa mga towers na nag-collapse. I don't know if if Chrissy or I'm pretty sure Lovely wasn't there yet, was a part of GK at that time. I'm not sure if Chrissy knew about that na minabutan niya yon. Chrissy and Lovely are the lovely ladies who are helping us behind the scenes, making sure that everything is working well and that the chat is alive on our Facebook page on GKUSA. So Kuya, so we talked about soccer and how you have always been passionate about it, right? I know that your children are also, or at least played soccer, right? If they no longer play now. But so where did that passion start?
So I think it started with my yung early education ko, no. So basically lahat kami magkakapatid were all Bosconians or from Don Bosco.
Oh, wow. Don
So
Makati?
Mandaluyong, San Fernando, Pampanga, and Canlub.
Oh, are
Oo,
you Kapampangan?
no, by ano lang. No.
No. But where did you go? Did you go to San Fernando or?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, kasi yung sa San Fernando, it's actually academy at saka yung junior rate. Junior rate is
Okay.
yung doon ako pumasok. Is
Okay.
specifically yung junior or yung ambition ko dati is gusto ko sana maging pare.
I
So,
never knew that. Tagal-tagal natin magkasama. I never knew that.
yeah,
Okay.
so Don Bosco Junior Rate is the minor seminary. Tapos after that, I went to Don Bosco in Canlubang, which is the major seminary. Kaya lang nahuli ako, sinipa ako. Tinanggal ako sa
What did you do, kuya?
secret yun. No,
Dito ka
so
pala babubuko sa kwentong GK, pinakatago-tago mo.
yes, so actually it was mainly with Don Bosco, no. With Don Bosco, we have basically a lot of Spanish, Italian priests. Walang ginawa kundi puro soccer or football. So in fact, in Mandaluyong, we have that huge soccer field. Tapos when we were in San Fernando, we had 4 soccer fields. And then in Canlubang, we had at least 2. So almost every day, hindi naman every day, we would be playing soccer. And then we would be playing soccer or football with the Italian priests or with yung German, may Spanish. So yun yung ano ko, yung when I was growing up, a lot of soccer. Tapos of course with Don Bosco, their main objective is yung youth. So they take care of the youth, trying to keep them occupied para hindi sila to stay away from trouble.
Yes.
So yun yung main mission ng Don Bosco is yung youth, and then hopefully using sports, specifically football then, to keep them very active. Tapos dun yung yun yung aking background. And then it went through with my 3 daughters. All of them played competitive soccer. No? So two of them competitive because then we traveled a lot. Umpisa just around Chicago area, and then we started traveling around Midwest, and then the whole country na rin. So we will go to tournaments I mean around Midwest or all the way to New Jersey. Pupunta kami ng Raleigh, North Carolina, down south to pati sa Florida, to Texas, to California, to Phoenix, Arizona. Kuminsan they even go all the way up to northeast sa Portland, Oregon. So we were doing a lot of soccer. So a lot of and then eventually I volunteered to be a soccer coach. So we started yung recreational, tapos and then now it's becoming competitive. I tried getting my coaching license. Tapos there were a lot of times may game walang referee. So okay, then I'll go and get certified referee too. So maraming beses I would be reffing my own games kasi there are no referees. So with that.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupt.
So from competitive soccer, then they were able to get academic scholarship. They played Division 1 soccer sa yung eldest daughter ko dyan sa Northern Illinois University. Tapos my youngest at Western Michigan University. Tapos because of that soccer, doon din pumasok ngayon ang they both played for the Philippine national team. So
Wow.
I was just looking through the internet and found that there is actually a women's team. I know there are men's team, pero yung women's I never really thought. So then I contacted the author or yung writer, and then he connected me to the coach. Then we started communicating, email, and then he asked me to come after yung sometime in April or May when their school was over. So my eldest was already in the university playing at Northern Illinois University. So we traveled like Tuesday evening and then did a tryout, and then by Friday we were in Kuala Lumpur to
Wow.
play a tournament. So yung nga yung love for soccer, tapos the both girls very heavily involved. I mean, like my eldest, she played maybe at least 25
Mhm.
games for the national team. Yung youngest ko, she just finished playing for the national team noong 2019. Her last game was actually yung SEA Games sa Manila. So she played over 60 plus
Wow.
games for the national team. So I think right now it's still the most for the women's. That's the most number of games as a playing for the national team. So
Grabe pala, no? Sobrang hardcore ka pala, Kuya Butchie.
yes.
So
Maybe.
this is not just a hobby. This is serious stuff.
Mm. So yun nga, I mean, I was traveling often sa Manila, getting to know yung soccer community doon, yung Philippine Football Federation. Then eventually I am a volunteer for the Philippine Football Federation. Specifically, I try help uh, help parents or players understand the process, paano sila makalaro so how can they play for the Philippine national team. So I try to pre-qualify them in terms of where were you born, how about your parents, where were you born, or where were your parents born, or when you were born, were your parents already Filipino or US, or were they already naturalized or still Filipino citizen. So then I try to help them in that regard, kung ano yung process, and then I try to let them understand yung expectations, playing for the national team, at the same time sharing my experience as a parent, uh, as a parent with the national team, traveling Southeast Asia, or even Middle East just to watch play soccer. Tapos, paano ba yun? How will I connect that? So, um, with that, I got to learn about more people, yung Filipino people. I mean, Filipino soccer, uh, mga soccer, ang tawag dito,
Enthusiasts or
oh,
yeah.
mga
Okay.
enthusiasts. So, so
Okay.
then, so then as part of my, yun na rin siguro upbringing with Don Bosco, I started contacting yung Don Bosco schools. Oh,
Mhm.
so in fact, yung Don Bosco Tuloy, I know some of the GK people would know them. Kasi yung the priest who was in charge of their soccer program was actually my classmate. So actually pari siya. So siya yung classmate. So I sent him a number of soccer boxes. And then even with Dan Moran, they are the soccer people, promoter, or very supporting grassroots soccer. I started sending them. And then suddenly I came across, I think, Kevin and Myra Goko sometime in
Mhm.
2012. Oh, I didn't know meron palang sipag program ang GK. So from then on, I was just sending all the used soccer equipment that I've been collecting sa kanila. So and then from then on, they distributed the different GK villages. So and then continued, I think, when they left for Iloilo, then came Bing and Dennis Monte Alto. So I started working or coordinating with them. So that's how, tapos sabi doon nga noon, I think 2012, I did visit yung Field of Dreams, yung sa Tondo. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Michael Gocco actually, yeah, was with me. He brought me there. Tapos doon ko nakita yung, tapos bumabalik na yung aking yung memories ko with Don Bosco playing soccer, tapos always with the kids. So we were
Uh-huh.
there at 6 in the morning. Sabi ko, 6 in the morning? Tutulog pa yon. When we arrived, they were already sweaty, dungis-dungis na. They were really into it. Sabi ko, then nakita ko talaga yung what football can do for these kids. No, so they were very enthusiastic. Tapos and then I got to meet yung coach. Hindi ko na matandaan ngayon. He was actually a resident of the village.
Mm-hmm.
So nakita ko yung enthusiasm niya magturo, tapos yung reaction ng mga bata. Then I said to myself, I have to continue and do this. So up to this date, I continue to collect use soccer equipment and then basically send them over to GK now. Um, Tapos we also went to Tatalon. Tapos
Mm-hmm.
so they were practicing, I mean yung sa Field of Dreams mas maganda kasi outdoor. Itong sa Tatalon, it's a basketball court. Okay, but then they still make do out of whatever they had. So
Yeah.
I did promise myself I will continue to do that. So
Wow.
besides nung with the playing, I was or I'm still very involved dito sa soccer community dito.
Mm-hmm.
So as a coach before, tapos nga as a referee, and then I started working with park districts. So I helped them organize, assign referees for them, make
Mm-hmm.
schedules ng kanilang soccer games, tapos soccer tournaments. I started helping out sa mga indoor facility. Meron silang mga leagues. I would do the schedule for the leagues. I will create a website for them for their scoring, pati yung schedule. And with that, I started getting or start establishing relationship with the different park districts, soccer clubs, soccer coaches. So those are the guys that I actually work with and eventually ask for donation. So
Ah.
sila yung ano ko, sila yung aking they're the big donors practically. Ang
Yeah.
my only puhunan is just laway.
Yeah. And you're trying to help them also in the
Yes, which is true. So yes, so I help them, and then in return, yeah, give me some donations. So and then
yeah.
they're very happy to help out.
Well, it
Uh,
also makes sense because they totally get like the passion for it, right? Because
mm,
they're part of the game. They love the game and they want to be able to share that to kids who love the game also but do not have the resources that they have.
mm,
Kumbaga, kuya, it's an easy sell. Kasi
i-
you're sharing a common passion, di ba? Or
correct.
not
Oo.
as hard maybe as a sell for someone na hahanapan mo pa ng connection, like
Mm.
like trying to find a common, passion to talk about. Speaking of, okay, so you mentioned si Dennis, I don't know how to pronounce.
Monte Alto.
No, Dennis Sined,
Yeah. He's Dennis Monte Alto.
Monte Alto. Okay.
And Bing or Marlene Importante.
Oh yeah, si Bing, we had her before.
Oh yeah. You had her. Yeah.
Sobrang, I was so impressed with that young lady and what that was actually my first introduction to CPAG. Of course,
Oh.
I've heard of it before, and then read it, on the brochures and flyers that we had before, but I never really had that much gathered as much information as I had when we had Bing Importante on
Mm.
Kwentong GK. Also from Tita Josie Disterhoff, wonderful to hear your story, Butchie. You have been such a major promoter of CPAG. Your early coaches were terrific. Your daughters are remarkable. I did not. So you have two daughters. What pareho pa lang.
Three.
Three
Tatlo.
daughters.
Oo.
Babae pala. And then Josie said also, we took pictures of young girls and boys wearing the shoes and shirts you sent from Chicago in Raha, Buayan, Mindanao. Can we plan to do more teams sa Mindanao? Yeah, I think that's a question also for Dennis and Bing. And then from Dennis again, we are thankful to Gawad Kalinga Football for Tito Butchie and Impelido. Impelido's tremendous help for our GKC Pag players. Ayan. So, okay, what did I do? Okay, never mind. So, well, now I understand your passion for it. I'm familiar with Don Bosco because, well, I was born and raised in Pampanga, right? I went to Saint School, and our sort of brother,
School.
school is Don Bosco. And my brother actually went to Don Bosco, and I know that their sports programs, our program, like the different sports are, it's really, they really have a robust, sports
Mhm.
in that school. So talagang na-ingrain, na-inculcate from when the kids are young palang grade school. My brother is also a vegetarian. So I totally, now I understand the passion for it. But I don't know of anyone who actually carried on the sport until way after high school. Aminin na natin, kuya, ang tagal na ng high school natin, di ba? But and not only did you carry that passion with you, you were actually able to use that to engage people, to help,
Mhm.
kids in the village, right? Who are also dreaming of, being good in the sport, right? And really, if anything, they don't even have to like really be good at it. Like you said, to just keep them away from trouble. I don't think like this, who was this young kid, si Sian, right?
Mhm. Yeah, uh-huh.
If you saw that episode, that's another impressive young man there, right? So I don't know what happened to his scholarship. I know he was applying to boarding school in New York and stuff like that. And I really think that the CPAG program actually, helped him, develop that discipline and that kind of winning mentality, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, might not be available, right? For other kids who are not given, that kind of opportunity, right?
Mhm.
To
Yeah,
dream.
so even when I met, every time I visit yung GK Mandaluyong, no, with Marlene or Dennis, I get to see some of the staff, si Zara, tapos some of the referees at saka coaches. So I try to encourage them. At saka, you can see naman with soccer or yung football nga, ang daming opportunities. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
you get to play, you're out of trouble, and then maybe I get scholarship. And
Yeah.
then if you're not good enough to play, I can referee. So it provides employment din sa kanila. So I try to
Oh,
support as much as I can. And then
that's a
later on,
great point.
after you're playing, you're now coaches. Some of them are coaches already. So
Mhm.
their AFC or Asian Football Confederation certified coaches. So ang daming opportunities. So sabi ko,
Hindi lang yung laro because not everyone's gonna be great at it. Di ba? Meron talaga
mhm,
super magaling, right?
mhm,
That's a great point. Now,
mhm,
so meron tayong from Leslie to Kia. Yes,
oo,
Butchie, go Chicago. O, di ba? Represent talaga Chicago. And then Chrissy shares, Zara is one of the GKC pa graduates. Ayan. So let's
yes.
ask you this, Kuya. So obviously, you have many years of experience coaching, right? And even, being an instructor, right? So you've been exposed to different kinds of players, both here and maybe also in the Philippines. Even if you didn't, I don't know, if you coached in the Philippines as well, you did.
Yeah,
Let me
you.
ask you this: how do you, or is there a difference between the mentality of the CPAG players and the players who are not, like those who are, who goes to Don Bosco, for example, who, probably has all the resources, in their fingertips to, to play the game. So is there any difference in terms of their mentality?
Yeah, siguro maybe there is some lack of confidence.
Mhm.
Pero that ano yan that can be solved, no?
Mhm.
So I think they have players now which are involved with the Kaya,
Uh-huh.
which is a private club. So,
Right.
nako, how?
Sige, pag-isipan mo yan.
But I think they're
Ano pa ito may share?
but,
Pag-isipan
but,
mo sa tanong.
they're,
Kasi, so when you say lack of confidence, it's the sipag kids na parang minsan kulang sa confidence. Is that what you're saying?
correct. Uh-uh.
Okay.
So,
I will ask you to expound on that, but let me read Leslie's ano first. So you can compose your thoughts, Max. Controversial yung question ko, di ba? Sabi ni Leslie, I don't know if he knows this, but he's very popular in GK Philippines, especially
sino?
the kids, ikaw siguro. For the kids he supported to be able to join national and international league. We were so proud during the last conference in the Philippines because of the achievements of the said youth group helped by Tito Butchie. We are so proud of you. And then si Bing Importante says, thank you, Tito Butchie, for your continuous support. So, okay, so you mentioned parang, parang mas kulang sa confidence sa tingin mo.
Pero I've seen din naman yung some of the players from Kaya. Now I'm nako, mahirap.
No, here, I think I can, I understand what you're trying to say. Kasi actually, sinare to din ni Bing. Also, Sian, touched on this a little bit. Sabi ni Bing, there are kids daw na who can apply for scholarships, but wouldn't even apply for the scholarships because they don't feel like they have the right to dream or that they can even, parang takot pa nga silang sumubok, right? So don't even try, right? And then Sian actually also touched on this a little bit when we had him here on Quantum Chike. I asked him, ano yung message mo to kids like you? Because obviously he's one of the success stories of CPAG, right? And he says, just keep to keep dreaming and try to achieve, try to really fight for your goals and achieve your dreams and all of that. So it that kind of really made me think na until like what we do, what CPAG does specifically is so important in building that confidence that you're talking about, Kuya, because like you said, it can be fixed.
It can be fixed.
It can be fixed.
It may take time, pero there is that environment available na para it's conducive para they start gaining confidence.
Right.
You cannot just yung pinipuera or prevent them from joining.
Yeah.
Slowly you try to for them to see the other environment, tapos slowly they'll start gaining their confidence. But I mean, I'm for sure even yung sa mga say for the Kaya players, they're very accepting. They don't care, pero it's all part of the game. They'll be just another teammate.
Right.
So they are very, very accepting.
Right.
So I can see that.
Ito pa, sinishare naman ni Dennis, sabi niya, 8 Gawad Kalinga football senior high school kids are currently enrolled in football varieties scholarships at Aquinas School in San Juan, in spite of the pandemic. Sian is one of them, while still waiting for his call regarding his US scholarship program. Thank you for the update, Dennis. We need to continue to pray for Sian. I was so impressed by that kid. And sometimes kasi, di ba, parang maski naman tayo na, I would say, na we've been blessed, right, to live I guess a more comfortable life. When growing up, if they keep telling you that you're not good enough, right, or you don't have a place in whatever it is that you have a place in, that kind of get hammered into your head, and you start to believe it. You don't deserve a place under the sun, right? But similarly though, right, if CPAG and GK and all of us, right, continue to support these kids and now hammer down on them, no, you do have a place under the sun. You do have the right to be here. You do have the right to compete, and you have the skills to compete. So let's work together and hone those skills for you to win it big, di ba? Kagaya ni Sia, di ba?
Correct. Kaya nga yung what I keep telling myself, I have to do more. Kasi here it's I mean, I can get a lot more. I can easily collect. At saka, I mean, makapal naman yung mukha ko eh. I just keep asking. So, yun na lang yung
Hindi mo
challenge.
naman, it's not naman daw for you that you're asking for the kids, you're asking for
Yes.
GK and the poor, like Luis said. So we shouldn't be embarrassed about, about asking. Ito nga, my birthday fundraiser is a whole month. You think I want to like celebrate a whole month? But you know what? I'll milk it. If I can raise at least $2,000, which is my goal, yeah, sige lang, one month, sige, celebrate tayo ng birthday ko. Kapala na lang din ang mukha, di ba? Whatever it is, whatever it takes.
It's for the good of other people. Madali lang.
Correct.
And
so,
then
okay, go ahead, sorry.
No, dito nga, I mean, I can, there's so much, ang dami. And then, a lot of the donations that I get, they're actually brand new. They're never been used. Just because they order so much. So, it's all part ng yung plan of obsolescence. So, they have to buy new sets of uniforms every 3 years. So when they order year 1, they order for 3 years and almost always sobra. So yung mga sobra na yan, they cannot use again. So yun yung mga hinihingi ko. There's so much, ang dami. And then of course, yung soccer shoes, you outgrow them very quickly. So I said, yeah, collect lang ng collect.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was Herb who shared with me in just a private conversation. He said that it really broke his heart when he saw 2 kids like share shoes, like one half of the shoe the brother is wearing and then the other half the other brother is wearing, and he's like, that's not right. And that broke my heart, and I can just imagine like really seeing it, in
or when they
sana wala nang ganon, di ba?
Or pag nag-substitute, they switch shoes too.
Yeah, I know. So hopefully being right, and then I hope that kind of thing doesn't happen anymore, right? With Butchie and Herb and everyone else who's supporting the program. All right, so let's leave soccer for a minute here, and let's go back because I know this was not your first, because this soccer was not the first thing, or collecting, equipment and gears and all of that was not your first GK, I guess, contribution, right? I remember back when you were introduced back in 2007, it was the late Tito Jun Bilyote who introduced you to us. And he was so excited that somebody could help him do the mail merge and the database of donors and all of that, right? So can you tell us about that? How did Tito Jun approach you? Did you volunteer? Did you go to Tito Jun and ask?
Yes. So I said I want to volunteer, and then immediately he had something. And then he actually started coming by my office to drop off stuff to enter or input them. And then so I said, everything is too manual. Let's create a database for this para mas madali. Kasi all I was seeing was all Excel spreadsheets. Lahat na Excel spreadsheets. So it's hard once you or it's hard to tawag dito, to summarize. Mahirap with that. So I said, I'll create a database. Ang madali lang naman, access database lang. So I create different reports para sa kanila, and then total the donations, and then create the acknowledgement letter. So I was doing that for, I think at one point, ang dami natin groups dito. Yung donations noon, we will create immediate acknowledgement letter para they know exactly, or they know that they've been they have received we have received the donation, and then they can put or as part.
Do we still have that database, Kuya Butchie? I'm sure Leslie would be interested to know.
Yes, meron ako. I have some of them from June Bilote to Jerry to Glenda,
Oh,
to June De Gia, and then with Leslie. I can share.
okay.
Pero how current
Awesome.
they are, especially yung phone numbers and email, I don't know. Hindi ko na alam
Well,
kung
that's something that somebody can be assigned to, to verify the information and all of that, as long as we have it. So I don't know if Leslie's aware of that already, maybe even Tita Josie. So, but this was, I asked Kuya because this is really going to be very helpful as we try to build our membership database, and
Mhm.
and do and put together a template, sort of a process, a primer on how to continuously engage those people who have already been a part of Gawad Kalinga of GKUSA in the past, whether donating a few dollars, or volunteering to their time and then their skills and talents, right? We want to first of all re-engage them if they're no longer engaged, and then keep them within the organization. The other thing you mentioned that is really worth highlighting is that when you volunteered to Tito June, right? You volunteered your services and told Tito June, ask him how you could help. He was ready with something for you to do. Very, very important because, right? That's really, that's really how we could lose people is when we don't, we're not ready for something that that we can assign to that person who's willing to help, diba? So before you know it, life happens. They get busy too, right? They probably have kids or whatever. Maybe at that time, your children, your girls are still growing up. Hindi pa sila mga adults, right? Because this is what 14 years ago they're about, and what if he wasn't ready? Baka makalimutan mo na, or, baka mabisi ka na with other things. And not because you didn't care. It's just, we just have to be a little bit more organized. So that's what we're trying to achieve, and what we're trying to work on right now, actually, in this project that we started. All right. From Maricel. Hi, Maricel. Again, our condolences and prayers for the passing of your mom, Tita Zenny. And thank you for joining us. She has a message for you, Tia Butchie. She says, thank you also for making them feel the warmth of that sun that Donna refers to. Okay. Malaki ang nagagawa ng tulong mo para sa mga bata. Thank you, Sipag Team. Ayan. Okay, so what are your plans for GK, your involvement with Gawad Kalinga? I understand that you just started. I don't know if you volunteered or you were voluntold to lead now naman the CICAD program, which actually started in LA, in Southern California, right? We had Dr. Lani Yamse on Kwentong GK, sometime last year, I think it was. And we did talk about CICAD. Now, I think I know that we are making it as a national program in Chicago. Is one of the areas that is adapting it through your help. So can you tell us a little bit more? I know baka hindi pa nagsa-start kasi with the pandemic, obviously.
So
Wala
yeah.
nagbabike.
No, so
ikaw pala nagra-ride.
Meron na rin. So Lali and I, we started communicating last year during, I think almost a year now, or maybe 8 months ago. So unfortunately, they couldn't do their yung kanilang CICAD run or bike run last year. Pero we've exchanged ideas of I presented or asked lots of questions. Most of them nasagot na ni Lani, pero I'm still waiting for some of them. Tapos now I've started trying to volunteer sa mga bike events or ride events dito sa Chicago area. There is yung bike the drive sometime I think in September. That's one. Meron ding Swedish run dito later on in September. Even here in Glen Ellyn, meron din another run. So nagbo-volunteer na ako sa kanila. So I get to see kung ano yung, ano bang meron or how do they run it and try to observe as much as I can. And then hopefully when we're ready, then we can have our own event here sa Chicago area. Uh,
And we can
Leslie,
also start small, right? Because I
yes,
remember from that conversation with Lani, they started sila lang, just
yes.
families and children. Their children were, like toddlers pa yata. They were little kids
Mm-mm-mm.
grown up, and the program still, that event still, keeps going. So maybe we can start with something small. Actually, Rob and I have been talking about buying a bike. Good
Yes.
one namin, diba?
So actually Leslie introduced Don Balingit. So siya yung toong bike enthusiast
Yeah.
dito sa Chicago area. So they were here in the Chicago area. So we talked, I think, late last year as well. So I'm hoping, I'm trying to get in touch with him again because I know they have rides, no, and he can bring a lot of riders. And then in terms of running the event, I mean, he has a lot of experience on that. So we will be
You
working
can
with him.
work together. That's
Yes.
great. Between you and him, I mean, I
Mm.
don't think I've met him, but it sounds like that's really his passion also. Parang ikaw sa her, right?
Oo.
They're
Mm.
both sports, and and pretty much, I'm pretty sure you can all work together. All right. From Bing, he says greetings from Antique, where we are spreading the sports we love in communities here, Tito Butch. Dito mapupunta mga padala niyo po soon. And then Dennis said those shipped by Tito Butch and Impelido have even reached our GK footballing communities in Mindanao and the Visayas.
Mm.
And then Tita Josie says, thanks, we love info on where CPAG is being planned the coming months. So do you have any information, or do you have any? I know you don't be the pro, you're contributing, but do you have anything to share about CPAG that you know about in the coming months?
Hindi ko, no. Hindi
Yeah.
ko. Yeah.
Maybe if Bing is still on watching, or Dennis can share on the chat below, right? Okay, so Kuya, I know your girls are all grown up now, right? Meron pa ba, is there somebody who's still actively playing, competing competitively?
No, hindi na. My youngest stopped playing 2019. Pero
Okay.
the youngest is actually in Manila. So she's been living in Manila since 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So before, while she was still at school, she was flying back and forth Manila to Chicago so many times a year. So when she finished school here, sabi niya, I'll stay there na lang. So I mean, I cannot blame her. Mas
What
masarap.
did she like about, yeah, so mas masarap, she liked there?
Oh,
Mas
yeah.
masarap daw for her?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and she was born and raised here, wasn't she?
Yeah. No, born and raised in Australia siya.
Okay. Oh, so you guys lived in Australia before you moved to Illinois?
Oo. Oh, let me tell you. I don't know kung
Okay.
alam mo yan, I have 4 citizenships.
No? Meron ba ganun four? Alam ko
4.
one.
4 citizenship.
Really?
Filipino citizen,
Uh-huh.
Australian citizen, US citizen, at saka senior citizen.
Sobra ka naman, di ka pa senior, no? Huwag ka magmadali. You're not, you haven't retired yet, right? You still work as
Not yet.
huh?
Not yet.
Right?
Not
You still
yet.
work as a database, was it database administrator? Is that what it's called?
Uh,
Wow. Well, when we're so lucky to have you in GKUSA, and specifically in Chicago, because I feel like I'm not trying to alienate, other regions. Obviously, I'm just more familiar with Chicago because I'm based, here in Chicago. We have a mix of people with different backgrounds, and actually, it was Rose Cabrera, I think, who said in one of our episodes where we had her. She said that no matter what your background is, there's always a place for you in GK USA. And she said that she and Maricel are really good in finding a place for people in our work. And I so agree. In
Mm.
fact, I think that's how Kwentong GK came about. I think Maricel was like, ano kaya papagawa ko kay Donna?
Something.
bilang madaldal siya at mausisa. Because I do, because I'm basically curious and, and I ask a lot of questions and, and I have a gift of gab that comes in a balikbayan box. So maybe that's why she put me here. Okay, Kuya. So any other, any message that you'd like to share or to,
Yeah.
people who might be just like soccer enthusiasts
Mm.
or, who want to maybe support, the program or any other GK.
Yeah. So maybe even the parents that we have here in the US, I know they have kids who may be playing or have played soccer. It's very easy to organize and start collecting used soccer equipment. If and when they're ready, I'll be happy to guide them kung saan padadala or where to send to what is needed. They practically need a lot or everything related to soccer. And then the benefit, the help, yung support na we're giving to the GKC Pag program is huge. We're providing them the opportunities. Tapos, and hopefully with that, they're open to different, yeah, yung kanilang future would be a lot better. And then it keeps them safe, away from trouble. And even with being a soccer player, you learn how to be disciplined. You
Yes.
need to eat properly, then you need to sleep. And then you also learn how to show respect to your co-players, to your
Mhm.
coaches, to the referees. Tapos even as a referee, yung mga nagiging referee, you get to learn a lot too. How to deal with younger people, how to deal with adults, or even
Mhm.
how to deal with players, or even with parents. So maraming natututunan. You get to learn a lot with soccer, and then
Mhm.
hopefully with the sipag, it will help them fulfill some of their dreams, if not all of them,
Nice.
and make them better people or person.
Nice, nice, amazing, amazing. It's one of the talagang what you said is really there are really practical and very tangible benefits, right? Just like the other GK programs, right? With CPAG, kita talaga nila, what the benefits are, like you mentioned. So, is
Yeah.
there? Can we share your like maybe your email address or something that we can type on the comments? So if anyone is interested to reach out to you, I'm pretty sure when
Yes, yes.
people say
Okay.
this,
Yeah.
I'm not much of a sports person, hindi talaga ako athletic. Kaya siguro hindi ako hindi ako disciplined. Kaya siguro, pati sa diet, hindi ako disciplined. No,
Ah,
but you really shared a lot of very, helpful things and very interesting things about CPAG and how we are helping the kids in the Philippines start to dream again and really help them fulfill those dreams. So can we share your email address or something like
yes, 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 yeah,
that? Okay.
definitely. Mm-mm.
So it
Tapos siguro shout out na rin, no? I mean, a lot of this is because of yung aking upbringing with Don Bosco. Yung environment that I learned from Don Bosco, yung taking care of kids. Kasi yun yung main mission ng Don Bosco, yung youth. And then with that, yung love with sports, tapos you go to coaching and then nakita mo na lahat.
yeah.
So nandun yung nag-connect na lahat yung dati tapos with your kids and then coaching tapos now trying to share with the youth again yung
This
ano.
is such a legacy that you can, magpataka pa para pag-usapan ng legacy, but but this is really such an amazing legacy to lead to the next generations, right? To be a part of, right? So kuya, ano yung email address?
It's B Impelido. I
Okay.
think Chrissy, you have it, or Lovely.
Yeah, so please share na lang sa comment um Crazy or Lovely. So everyone, we invite you to reach out to Kuya Butch, or maybe also message us on GK USA if you have any questions, or want to know more about what CPAG is and what CCAD is also. We talked about a little bit, and any of the programs of GK USA of Gawad Kanina, right? So again, thank you so much, Kuya, for joining us this evening.
Can I maybe shout out to the different park districts that have been donating to this
Yes,
CPAC
please.
program? So yung number one park district is yung aking Glen Ellen Park District, the Wheaton Park District, the Woodridge Park District, and then the different soccer clubs who have been donating, like the Glen Ellen Lakers, the Glen Ellen Raiders, Synergy, Eclipse, Libertyville, at Chicago Fire, at marami pang iba.
Yeah. Thank
And
you
then
so much to all of you who have been supporting us.
yeah, and then also we had yung Filipino couple sa California, si Oski and Jerry Montilla, with their daughter Cara. They brought like 3 or 4 balikmayan boxes of soccer shoes. Tapos of course we have Herb from California, who have been
Hey, Herb Minakoffer. I know how to
KCPA
say his
program.
name already.
And then another friend, Mark Mangune from Michigan, he has been sending a lot of soccer, used soccer equipment also to the GK CPAG program.
All right. Thank you so much to all of you. And, for others who are curious to know how to go about that, you can also reach out to your own park districts, and start soliciting those equipment and gears for our children in the Philippines, so that they too can play and compete, right? With in football. Okay. So maraming salamat, Kuya Buchi. Thank you
Uh,
so much. And
Thank you.
thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and make it a habit every Thursday here on Quentin GK, 5 p.m. Pacific. Good night, everyone.
Right. Thank you.